Hey y'all, so I am back with another nail tutorial, and in this one I am going to be doing another encapsulated gel polish design. I have been doing these a lot lately and I really do love the effect that they give. So I'm starting off by doing my natural nail prep, of course. So I have pushed back her eponychium, and now I'm coming in with my cuticle bit and I'm just running that at the back of her nail so I can detach that dead skin that's stuck onto the nail plate. Now you see me going the opposite way, and I just put my bit in reverse to do that. And now I'm going to come in with my sanding band and just etch the nail plate. So I don't go too hard when it comes to the cuticle bit because I know I'm coming in afterwards with my sanding band, and anything that's remaining I can just get it with that. Now, I just have to mention, because I don't know why I thought about this. When I get a new client, sometimes they tell me, well, when I go to A, B, or wherever they go, they do not do this natural nail prep. Well, they don't do all of it. I think, maybe they'll just use the sanding band or they won't push back the eponychium. And I think to myself, how? I would be so scared that those nails would pop right off, okay? So I always do my natural nail prep no matter what. I make sure that I'm basically doing a dry manicure and I have those nails prepped and cleaned and ready for, all that acrylic to come so they can look nice. So it's just mind blowing to me, y'all. I'm just like, what? But back to this set, I'm going to apply my tips now, and these are straight, no C curve coffin tips. And I believe I got them from Zulays, and I love them. Anything that's no C curve, I'm with it. That is my preference for sure, to have a straight nail tip. So once I cut down her length, I'm just going to go in and proceed through all of the nails and measuring them as I do so. And then I will file them into shape. And you really don't need much filing, but I do like to bring it in towards the top of the tip just a little bit. And then I will also buff where the tip meets the natural nail with my sanding band just to flush it and make sure that it's smooth there. Okay, so I have my natural nail prep done, and I've already dehydrated and primed, and I use Mia's Secret for that. I have been using Mia's Secret for a long time and it works, so I don't change it. So for this set, the majority of them are going to be French. One of them is going to be a full nail of that gel polish design. So since I'm doing all of those Frenches, I'm going to start there first. I'm going to build up my nail beds, and by the time I'm done building them up, they'll be dry and I can start back to the first one and start filing them into shape. So that's why I always start with my Frenches first. So to build that nail bed, I'm pointing her finger all the way down. So I apply that bead in the center of her nail, point her finger down, and it will just naturally flow down evenly towards the tip. And once it does that, I just start molding it into an almond shape. I have not used my cutters in a minute, y'all. I have just been doing it like this, and I feel like it's faster. So that's the only reason why I've been doing it like this. So I do take my time though when I'm shaping this. I know I'm going to come in and file this French anyway, but still I want to be able to get the correct shape that I'm looking for. So that's why you really see me taking my time and just molding it. Now I'm coming in with my cuticle bead, and I just place that back there and then stroke it through the first bead. Now I'm going to come in and build it up a little bit more. This is where you really want to check the side profile of your French. It should look like it's already building up at apex at this point. I feel like there's a very thin line between too much and not enough when it comes to French. So make sure that you check your side profiles and you have it built all the way up. So for this nail, this one is going to be the full cover design. I'm going to come in and apply a clear thin bead and let that dry. Then I'm going to move on to the other fingers and just build those up and make my Frenches. Okay, so now I have all of my Frenches built up and they are dry, and I went in and I filed them into shape. So here I'm showing you the blossom gel that I'm going to be using. Anytime I'm doing anything with gel polish, I'm probably gonna use the blossom gel. For this one, it may not even be necessary, but I love the way it manipulates the gel. It's just easier to swirl to me. So that's why I use it for this. So now I'm coming in with this gel polish and then also a white, and then I threw in a dark brown. First thing I'm going to do is just take those colors and start dabbing them onto that top coat of that blossom gel that I've already applied. Now, when it comes to the cuticle area, I always try to make sure that I line that up. Like if I was applying a gel base to that nail. So you always want to pay attention to your cuticle area. So once I apply those colors, I'm just going to go in and start swirling them. And then I'll come in and I'll add wherever I think I need it and then just create swirls. Now, this is very just dependent on how you like it, how you see it. I'll do it and I'll just continue to swirl it. If it's not enough, I'll add just, until I feel like it looks good. And so basically, I'm just going to do that down the whole nail. I'm going to add more dots, swirl, and then once it's done, I will cure it. So for the French, I'm going to come in and apply my blossom gel first, and then I'm going to come in and add my color at the tip. Now this is pretty much like I do it if I'm applying acrylic. I always start at the tip, so that's why I'm doing it like that. And then I'll come in with my other colors and just start dabbing that onto the nail, filling up that tip, and then I'll come in and I'll start swirling. At this point is when I realized I liked more of the white to show, and then I only liked that color there that you see me using. So I did not like the dark brown in this. So I'm adding that white, and then I'm adding that cool tone brown and running that through the white. So it doesn't look so overwhelming. That's pretty much how I wanted it to look. So now you see me just cleaning up that nail bed and making sure that I don't have any gel polish on her skin before I come in and cure. So like I said, I did not like the dark brown in it. So I'm just going to file that off. That's the good thing about, using gel polish. It doesn't take nothing to take this off and start over. So I tried to use my buffer, but it wasn't enough. So I'm just going to come in with my hand file and carefully buff that off. Now it's still just a tip and a clear base, so this is pretty thin, so I'm being very careful when I take this off. Okay, so once I have the majority of that polish off, I came in with my brush and just removed any of that dust. And I also took my nail brush and scrubbed it. You want to make sure that you do not leave any dust behind. So I'm going to once again come back in with my blossom gel, and then I'm only going to use those two colors, and I'm going to make sure that I don't overwhelm it with the brown. So adding more white and then just running that brown through the white. Okay, so let's do one more French. I'm going to start with my white at the tip, and then I'll come in with my brown color, and of course I applied the blossom gel first. And when I'm using this brown color, this is my darkest color, so I'm making sure though that I place that where my nail bed edges are. So right there on that edge, I want to make sure that my darker color is there. So when you see the overall nail, you'll see the definition of that French. The white would be fine too, but it's always a darker color that really makes a French pop. I've even seen some designs where they'll just add a tiny bit of black back there at the French area where the nail bed is, and then they'll fade it up with like a lighter color and just a little bit of glitter, and it really pops. That's why you see me adding that darker color around the edge of the nail bed. Okay, so once I have all of them cured, I'm just going to wipe them off with alcohol so I can take off that tacky layer. Anytime you're going to cap over gel polish, it could be very slippery. So you want to remove that tacky layer. So once I have that done, now it's time to cap these nails. So I'm going to start right there at the tip and where the nail bed ends. That's where I'm going to apply my first bead. So just like any other acrylic application, this one's, not different from any other. I'm just going to walk that bead down. What I am going to do though is I'm going to really pay attention to my sides. I don't want to bulk it up, but at the same time, I want that clear acrylic to go over the sides and kind of push that gel polish in. Basically, you don't want to leave any open spots, because when you come in and file it, and if a side piece you didn't fill it up correctly or cap it, then things can get in there and you don't want that. So I'm really making sure I'm covering everything when I'm applying my clear coat. That's pretty much the main thing when you're encapsulating anything. You want to really make sure that it's in there and sealed with the clear acrylic. So once I have that done, I'm just going to continue building this up. Most of the times when I'm doing something like this, it takes more than one bead to get the tip. Like if I'm doing an acrylic application, most of the times I would only have to use one bead at the tip and then come in with my cuticle bead. But since that tip was so thin, of course I'm going to have to build it up. So now I'm going to come in with my cuticle bead, and I'm going to check the side profile, and I'm just going to make sure that that apex is how I want it. Okay, so I have all of the nails capped, and now I'm going to come in and start my finish filing. So I always start with my hand file first, and like I said at the beginning, she's going to be doing a coffin shape. So I'm just going to use that hand file and get these in the shape that I want. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to come in with my file, my electric file, and I'll go over the surface of the nail with that. And most of the times, I always come back with my hand file and just, perfect it like that. I feel like the e-file pretty much just removes bulk, and with the hand file, you can really get it into how you want it. You can really get in there and shape it. So I think I'm a hand filer for sure. So to finish these off, I'm just going to add some 3D flowers, and I always start with the center first. So this one had some diamonds, I believe, and some little beads around the diamonds. So I'm just going to apply those first, get them where I want them in position, and then I'll cure it for a full 60 seconds. So now I'm coming in and I'm going to create those 3D flowers, and they're only going to be 3 petals. So I'm using a white, and the white that I'm using is I&M, and this white is perfect for 3D flowers because it dries fast. So anytime you're doing 3D, if you can, use a powder like that, one that dries fast. And I know sometimes it's hard because you want to use whatever color you used in the set, but if you're able to, those kinds of acrylics are the best to use. So I'm just going to place my bead, and I'm going to work back and forth. So I'm going to start at one flower, and then I'll go to the next one, place that bead, and then go back and start making my petal. That's just the way I like to do it, because of course you're giving time for it to set up, and that's the only way to do 3D flowers, in my opinion. You cannot do it while it's still wet at all. So by me placing the bead and then moving on, I'm giving it time. I know I'm giving it time to set up, and I'm not rushing it. So when you're pressing out your petals, I have a video on 3D flowers. So if you want something detailed, you can reference that. But when I'm pressing in my indentions and making my petals, you want to press very lightly. I mean lightly, y'all. So I'll press it very lightly, and then I'll move on to another one, do that, and then I'll come back and finish it up basically, and really define it. So 3D flowers, they can make a set pop, and that was one thing that I really practice on when I started out, because I seen them all the time, and I was like, dang, I want to know how to do that. So I practice, and I do them all the time in my salon. Everyone gets a 3D flower. Okay, and now for some finishing touches. I'm going to take those gold rings. I mentioned these in my AliExpress haul. I just got them. I told y'all I needed these little rings. I'm applying the rings, and then I'm just going to apply a diamond through the center. And I'm going to do that on all of the nails that are the French. So once I have that done, I'm going to top coat, and anytime I'm using any kind of gold charms, I always go over them with my top coat, just so they won't rust throughout the wear. So that is pretty much it for this set, y'all. We loved it, my client and I did it a long time ago, and I'm just now getting able to do this video, and I couldn't wait to share it with you guys. I thought they were beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in another video. Bye.